This is Tailgate Talk, presented by Tarpon Blue.
Let's take a ride. In this series, we're going to show you everything Texas and its surrounding southern states has to offer, right here from our very own tailgate.
We'll take you from life on the farm and the ranch to the big city lights. This is Tailgate Talk. Come along for the ride.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Tailgate Talk. This is Guy Tate with Tarpon Blue Insurance Advisors, and we came to visit today a cool new place near downtown Seguin called the Blooming Cottage. She has a few antiques and odds and ends and metalwork and a ton of beautiful plants. She also does some organic tea and homegrown vegetables, and everything of those products is locally grown. So we're going to go out back and find Rita and see what she's up to and check out the beautiful backyard and all the nice plants. Hey everybody, I want to introduce you to Rita Charlton. We found her here in this beautiful backyard and want to give Rita a chance to introduce herself and tell us how you got started in the nursery landscape business and what we got going on here at the new shop.
All right. I'm Rita. I own the Blooming Cottage, and we also own Bloomers Landscaping. So these two little projects kind of go hand in hand with each other. To tell you a little bit about how I got started, I started my first nursery greenhouse business in March of '98 in a little hometown of Lincoln, Kansas, where I'm from. Every year I was in business there, we just slowly grew and grew and grew. And I actually sold that business to a very good friend of mine who now has that business along with a floral shop, and it's still doing amazing in my little hometown, which I love. And from there, we just added on. We started doing more landscaping projects, and then I ended up selling all my stuff in Kansas, and I moved to the beautiful hot state of Texas. And I've been looking for a great location to start a sitting place for people to enjoy plants. We have teas, we have fresh cut flowers, we have fresh vegetables inside. So if you all get a chance to come back sometime and sit and enjoy, we would love that. And I always get lots of questions about what to plant where and how to do it. So I thought while we were talking today, I would also show you how to make a potted arrangement for your patio or for a gift. We can make it while you're waiting, we can deliver for you, or you can pick from one of the hundreds that we have already made. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing, and then if anybody ever has any questions, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and just stop by and we'll answer any questions you have. So I'm going to get started with an old bucket that I found. It's actually a cast iron old, I guess it was like a type of an old bean pot of some sort, but we put some holes in the bottom, and they're great for the humidity and the heat here in Texas. They will rust a little bit, but that's great when you're using old containers. We also, before we get started, I just want everybody to think about all the things that you can recycle. So this is a little project we did a little while ago, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is an old toolbox that we planted. There's the back of it, and here's the front of it. So you can always recycle all of the old things that you find laying around on the farm. Old wash pans, old roaster pans, little hand washing pans that your grandparents would have had a long time ago. Those are all wonderful things to recycle in. So we're going to start with this big old bucket here. So I use a little bit of a potting mix with also a bedding plant mix, and then I add a little bit of topsoil. The reason I do that is so that the topsoil is a little bit heavier and it will help hold in the moisture, and in Texas we need that. A lot of people ask, should I put styrofoam or rocks in the bottom? Absolutely not. Yes, it does help with drainage, but then that is a problem later. We don't want the water that we want our plants to take up all to be just running out the bottom because we have it full of rocks and styrofoam or peanuts or trash bags or whatever everybody throws in the bottom. That's a no-no, we don't do that. So I'm going to start with my pot, and I want my pot to be seen all the way around. So I'm going to put my focal point in the middle, which happens to be a canis. There's new cannas out that have purple leaf, orange flowers. There's reblooming. There's some that are made for shade more than others, but I'm starting with an old-fashioned red. It's about a 3-footer. Even though it's supposed to get 3 feet, all these plants are going to grow till they fill the pot and then stop growing. They're not going to get any larger. They're still going to stay beautiful, but they're not going to get a lot larger.
All right, so Rita, this is about a 3-foot canis bulb, and does it need shade or sun, and what are you going to add to it? And I know I understand everything has to have the same necessity for water or sun,
Yes.
so they have to all be like plants.
Right. Yes. So this canna is going to bloom once, and then it's going to shed this off. We're going to do where we call deadheading, and then we're going to have more blooms. But yes, this plant blooms better if it has more sun. And the pot we're making today is made for more sun. Full sun is considered 6 hours, but in the state of Texas where it's so hot, if we would have 3 hours of sun in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, or 2 and 4, that's great. It gives the plants a little chance to get a break from the hot sun and the heat. So even though we like stuff in full sun all day, if we can have a little bit of shade for our plants, it makes a huge difference in saving our flower. So we got our canna in. I add a little bit of soil. So now I would like to add the ponytail grass, the little short fluffy grass.
There we go.
This grass does not really have a bloom. It's just a little tufty short grass. I'm going to use him for a filler next to my big cannas because we can kind of see there's a hole here. So I'm going to just take a little bit of soil off of him. I'm going to scoot this in, and we're going to put him right in there like that. He's going to be our front. Okay.
Does that ponytail grass get much larger, or is
It
it
does- it
about
does.
like
It's about
going to be?
It's about the size it's going to be. So it's just going to be cute. He's going to be our bow tie in our pot is what we're going to use. Okay, can I have the dragonwing begonia, please? The one with the red? So this is one of my favorites. I got a lot, but this is one. This is a dragon wing. This is a whopper begonia, excuse me. This one gets, in this pot, it's going to be about 24 inches by 24 inches. It's a rebloomer, and it will handle full sun. So it's amazing begonia. I'm actually going to squish him down a little bit. It saves me a little bit of room. So I'm just going to tuck him right here next to this guy. Okay, and then I'm going to add a duplicate on the other side. This is a whopper also. They do make a dragon wing begonia also. It is very beautiful. It's more drapey. It hangs a little bit more, but I want a little bit more upright. I'm going to put him back here a little further like this. Okay, now I would like to have the Kimberly Queen fern. A lot of people in Texas like to plant Boston ferns. We do not plant Boston ferns. This fern you can not mess up with. This is a Kimberly Queen. They can stay small like this in the pot, or they can get very large. And very large, I mean by 3 or 4 feet. They take sun or shade, a little bit of water, too much water. This is a very, very forgiving plant. They are beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to put him in the back because I would like to have some fluff in the back. So I'm just going to poke him in there just like that. Now I'm going to put one of my other favorite plants in, which is the sweet potato vine. And I love the purple. It's a complete contrasting color. It's a trailing plant. It does good in full sun, and it can handle part shade. And it actually makes a sweet potato at the end of the season. So it's kind of neat. You don't want to eat it because it's pretty rank and not very tasty, but I'm going to put him in here on the side. Now, if my pot was going to be on the left-hand side of my door at home, and I want 2 matching pots, I would put my trailing plant on the outside or the left of the door, and on my right-hand side, if I had another pot, I would put it on the other side to even out the length of the door. Or the other thing I could do is I could put the sweet potato vine in the very back, so when you're looking at the pot, all of your color would be draping down the back, like a trail of on a train of a dress. So that's what I'm going to put on that side just because I love them and they're very forgiving. And then I'm going to add a little bit more color. This is actually a coleus, which it's very confusing nowadays with coleus. We have coleus to take the full sun, we have coleus to take the shade. How do you know the difference? It's really hard to tell the difference if you don't know your actual coleus. This one actually can take part sun. I don't want him in the shade because he'll lose his color, but if I put him in the full sun all day long, he'll get a little scorch. But I'm going to tuck him right here in the middle, and I'm almost putting him on top of the canna and right behind that grass. He's literally just setting in there. Okay, now I'm going to add some of my other favorites. This is Angelonia. It's actually a snapdragon for the full sun, 16 inches tall and about 8 to 10 inches wide, and it will have blooms all summer long. So I'm going to squeeze him in here, and I'm not putting him in straight. Just going to put him in an angle, and he will continue to grow at an angle, which makes my pot wider. And I'm going to add a couple colors together. And a lot of times when I make my pots, I don't like to use a lot of the same thing. I'm going to put this one in straight up. Because then if you have one specific plant and the plant doesn't do well, then you've lost your whole entire basket. So I like to add multiple things together. So when I make my baskets, you're going to see lots of different arrangements of flowers together. This sign I'm only going to add one because I got my big sweet potato vine over there. So now what I would do is I would take my soil and I just use a little, like an empty pot or a cup, and you're going to lift and fill and lift and fill. There's no packing. There's no stomping of the soil. There's no jumping on the soil. We literally put it in and fluff. Or you can shake. So then, when I'm done with that, I like to add another little product, which is peat moss. And I'm gonna put him, or sphagnum moss, excuse me. I'm gonna put it in like this, around my edges. This, when it gets wet, it swells up, which holds moisture for us. So this would be the front of our pot. This would be our sides. This would be our back. But if I wanted to see it all the way around, I would just put it in the middle and walk around. But this would hang off that direction and have you some height over there. So that's all you do with that. And then I just made myself a little burlap bow, just a piece of burlap, and we twist it and add it to a stick. And if I needed to send this for a gift, that's all I would need to do, just like that. There you go.
So I was thinking 4 or 5 plants, even in a pot that big, but you put like 10 or 11 plants
Right.
and some other decorative stuff. So it's stuffed full.
Right.
So is this something you're going to do on a daily basis? If someone comes here to go shopping, they can walk around the yard, pick out a pot that looks like a lot of specialty pots here.
Yes.
Or planters, and then they can go around the yard and pick out multiple different plants,
Yes.
and you can design it for them
Yes.
on site, or they can.
They
If
can
you're
call
just
me.
slam
Yep.
busy, they can pick it up later,
Yep.
or
We'll deliver.
in some chances we can deliver locally.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes, it's fun. It's a great feeling to see the smiles on people's faces, because this is not something we have to do. This is something we want to do for ourselves. It's not like paying our cell phone bill or our city bill. It's about us wanting something to make ourselves feel better. So flowers is always a good touch for that. So if you would like to take a stroll around, you're welcome, and we can see more arrangements.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Rita really did design this place for a opportunity for you to come and hang out and have some tea and do some plant shopping, some metal artwork. The shop's at 109 North Austin Street,
Yes.
Seguin, Texas. We're just hanging out in the backyard. I'm having a hibiscus tea, and
I'm having hibiscus lemon. It's my favorite also, but we have 8 or 10 different kinds. So come hot or cold, we'll be here.
so come check it out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or come by and visit, do a little shopping, or just hang out and have a good time. Thanks for watching another episode of Tailgate Talk.
Thanks for tuning in today, and thank you to our guests for sharing their story.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time on Tailgate Talk.
We'll tell you things you might not know.